Hey, it's me, Narrative, and this episode of Murder Drones was amazing, but it comes with some caveats, such as the fact that it's entitled Mass Destruction, and the only thing going through my head with that is, oh yeah, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, baby, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, baby. Start at the beginning. The episode opens with a sequence that is equal parts horrifying and equal parts hilarious. By the way, this intern character is now my official favorite human character in the show. Also, where the hell was the real Dr. Chambers? He got lucky that the intern was smart enough to maneuver around the solver's tomfoolery. Anyways, back to the exposition. This entire scene serves to show the inciting events that jump-started the entire show. The humans actually came close to patching out the solver's corruption, but ultimately failed at the last second as Nori's hand drops down the weird flesh tube thing that I assume leads to the planet's core. Humanity is dead, and all that remains are the unsuspecting drones left at the mercy of an eldritch abomination. The episode continues with one of the biggest reveals in the show. Turns out Dead Mom wasn't dead after all. Best part, it seems that the patch worked out since this weird heart creature behaves exactly like Nori rather than whatever this thing in episode 2 was. Neat little detail is the fact that the second episode was entitled Heartbeat, and Nori's form is known as Heart in the subtitles. Following that reveal, we continue where we left off in the emotional episode 6. En, Uzi, and Tessa descend further down the cabin fever labs. Tension builds and we get the weakest third act breakup. This entire sub-conflict, if we could even call it that, gets too easy of a resolution. Granted, it is just a simple misunderstanding cause my boy En can't word correctly in high-stress situations.
Not gonna hurt you, okay?
Hurt me?
The three end up getting separated following this as Uzi's solver abilities go haywire. Each of them goes their own way, and the episode's pacing kinda gets messy here, but we'll cover Uzi's part of the story first. Uzi discovers the weird chapel/laboratory location where her mother and several other corrupted drones were tested. She uncovers the truth behind the initial core collapse, while the fandom finds a new ship. Speaking of ships, En gets haunted by the ghosts of envy shippers. Kidding. I'm honestly a bit lost in this scene, but based on the context, it can be taken as Sin or the Solver attempting to take control of En's body. Quite a few things are shown here. The disassembly drones really were murder drones, since Sin created them with the express purpose of wiping out humanity on Earth. Yes, this is Earth and not Copper 9's initial collapse. Furthermore, the most important tidbit of information revealed here is the fact that the solver got attached to her co-workers.
You know, you're one of the main reasons I wanted your team to retain your personalities. You always surprise me. Loved doing anything.
It would have been easier for the solver to do the entire plan by itself, but because of this attachment, she's fooled every single disassembly drone under her command to think that they're being ordered by humanity to eliminate the corrupted drones. When in reality, the solver is eliminating her competition, and why wouldn't it? Her initial attempt at causing a core collapse was stopped at the last second by a fully patched Yeva. Sure, it's nice to have more than one host, but do the costs truly outweigh the benefits? Besides, it only really needs one perfect host to get the job done. Oh, we'll get to that later. Just before En gets devoured by the solver's main body, he is saved by Nori, who was apparently trying to find a way out of the labs. This line of dialogue was particularly cute.
Think you could get this across to the surface? I'm looking for a hunk named Khan.
Uzi's dad?
Turns out emo girls are down bad for dumbasses.
Ugh, bite me.
Another line of dialogue is a bit suspicious though.
Hey, you look familiar. Watch the road.
Does this imply that En really did kill Nori? Or at least destroyed her body? Well, whatever the case, it seems that En didn't finish the job. it appears that the worst case scenario was somewhat avoided. The interaction of these two throughout the episode were fun. I love how you can glean from the episode how alike Uzi and Nori are, and how sorry Nori is to have caused everything to go down the way it did. On the other hand, End is adamant on no longer hiding anything from Uzi. A cute way of not just going against Nori, but going against with how V treated him back in the earlier episodes, with her constantly keeping things from him.
V, if you're hiding something, we can figure it out together. Even if we each only have pieces. Please, what do you know?
What's best for you? Even if you hate me for it.
And truly is best boy. Tessa goes off to finish her job with wiping out the cabin fever lab's data. We get a brief glimpse of the sheer number of drones that were tested here, and how Nori and Yeva were probably the only ones that managed to get patched. But don't quote me on that, I have slow eyes. Dahl appears and a confrontation ensues, if you can even call it that. It's implied here that even Tessa didn't even know what form the patch took. The flash drive that was the only way to effectively combat the Solver's control. One last obstacle for her to overcome. This was the biggest bombshell of the episode, where we find that Tessa was Michael Afton all along! But that's just a Fury, a gay Fury! Damn it, it's too soon! With all that out of the way, we'll get into some of the miscellaneous stuff. Thad and Lizzie get a message from an unknown source. Ooh, spooky! Who could it be? Could it be Dr. Chambers? Or the intern who managed to survive? Or could it be... Ow! Okay, fine. It's obviously V, okay? It's obviously V. Since Lizzie refers to her as a friend. Could it have come from Dahl? Probably not, considering that she's dead. Yeah, she's dead. I'm sure she's dead. Come on, move on. During their trek towards the lab, they encounter Jay, who's on a mission to destroy every way off the planet, save for her own ship. I don't know why these two knuckleheads are so confident they can take her on, considering that they were cowering from her in the first episode. Luckily for them, they weren't Jay's targets. The two then approach the Death Spire, where they bump into Khan Dorman, a character whose development would have benefited from more screen time, since the last time we saw him was in episode 5, where he just let Dahl into Uzi's room. And now we see him gearing up with two teens as his backup. What the hell happened to the WDF? Oh, right. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay, you've made your point. In the next episode, it's likely they'll team up with Jay or something. That will be an odd but probably funny team up. So let's cut back to Uzi. With all the reveals going on, Uzi's left in a vulnerable spot as Dahl's remains inches its way towards her. On her screen, one last message. Fight back. Tessa soon follows in and saunters into the room. Uzi attempts to push her back. This is a solid scene that really pushes Tessa as an actual threat even to Solver users, and it's a great callback to episode 3. It takes Uzi aback and it gives Tessa an opening, just as she lands the final blow and appears from somewhere. Let's not get into the details. Nori probably sped up the process anyways. En raises his blade against Tessa's neck and asks one simple question.
You knew about the patch, yes or no? One chance.
Cute. You know why I keep you around here?
Well, clearly that was the wrong answer. Also, I think at this point En's pieced together that Tessa isn't really who she seems to be, as implied by this dialogue.
Who's its host?
Like, Uzi? And a red-eyed,
Yeva's kid, I know, dummy. Which one was just trying to eat us?
And the fact that Tessa answers by saying something similar to what Sin monologued to him earlier.
You know why I keep you around here? No, you're one of the main reasons I wanted your team to retain your personalities.
and attempts to give Uzi the patch, but it seems that the solver got a new host. This fight scene is peak. Like, seriously, really well choreographed. You can see the action clearly as the yellows and purples clash, sticking out of the red glow of the chapel. Nori even joins in on the fun. Her animations really pull through here. Though, I wish there was a bit more dialogue at this part where N hesitates doing any damage to Uzi. It just felt weird and oddly blank. Speaking of things that were weird and oddly blank, it turns out another way to stop an eldritch abomination from possessing your body is by revealing your relationship status to your in-laws, causing you to get smacked really hard in the head. Believe it or not, this does tend to happen in most couples cases. My source?
That I made it the fuck up.
Uzi accidentally beats her mom down the weird flesh tube thing. I'm never gonna get used to saying that. Don't ban me, YouTube. While Uzi and Ann freak out about it and just hug. The shipper in me is going wild. Ah, yes! 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 Anyways, before any of you call me out, the ship is the equivalent of shipping Apple and Windows together, okay? They're machines. And in Ann's case, he keeps getting reset and given a new body, especially with this line from Tessa.
Don't worry, your backups will forgive me.
In short, don't make me weird, okay? I'm just enjoying the show. Bite.
Bite.
Oh shoot, I didn't mean it like that!
Stab.
So Michael Afton, Tessa makes a move and drags Uzi and Ann down the weird tube thing. I have no clue why she's trying to do this, considering she's about to create a black hole that'll consume the entire planet. Put down in the comments why you think she's doing this, cause I have no clue. N gets saved by another one of his love interests. Now, N, I know I just called you best boy earlier, but at this point, I'm going to start calling you L, cause you keep catching so many of them. Yes, I do have a joke book. How did you guys know? The episode ends with this powerful shot of Copper 9's destruction. It isn't clear if this is just a vision or the actual planet's destruction, but I'm willing to bet on the latter. Why? Well, based on the flashback, the planet's core was partially disrupted with a single hand, and that was in an instant. This time, the solver just jumped in immediately without holding anything back, so I'm going to assume that that's what happened. So what are my thoughts? The episode is jam-packed with content, and the wait was well-deserved, but it lacks the emotional gut punch. What do I mean by that? The reveals are solid, but they're just thrown to the side way too quickly for me to feel the impact that it has on the characters. Like for example, Nori's reveal, Uzi meeting her again after expressing how scarring her death was to her, and another is with Dahl's death. This was a key character, and I really hope that she and Uzi could have talked one last time before Tessa came in and stole the show. I know that Murder Drones has had this issue since the very beginning, with death just being treated with the tiniest bit of nuance. Honestly, it's a bit more of a comedy, really. That's just the nature of the show, but these were clearly characters that were pivotal to the main character's development, and it would have been neat to just have one moment where the episode slowed down so that the characters could process everything that was happening. It just felt like they stretched the episode far too thinly, such as the reintroduction of Fad, Lizzie, and Khan, three characters that were barely developed, and suddenly they're brought back to the forefront as key players in the final confrontation with the Solver. Overall, this episode wins in terms of visuals, choreography, and sheer spectacle of it. But it makes me concerned whether or not the final episode of the show can deliver with a solid emotional payoff to everything that this episode builds up. Nonetheless, my hopes are still up for this little indie series that I still love, regardless of my own critiques of it. Anyways, that's all from me. And what did you think of this episode? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.